So hospitality in 2023 is different than hospitality the beginning of 2020. How would you describe that?
I think the wild card for hospitality to me is going to be business travel. I just heard Bill Gates yesterday suggest that he thought it would be cut in half. I think that's an overstatement, but leisure business, I don't see that going anywhere. That's been growing. I think that will continue to grow just as much as it did in the past. I don't think the convention business is going away either.
What happens in the retail sector in the next few years?
I think a lot of folks are predicting that department stores are going to play much smaller role in retail going forward. What came out of our emerging trends publication, specifically around retail, was a belief that the economic model between the landlord and the tenant might evolve in a way that was shorter term leases and potentially more percentage rent focused. That's going to change the dynamic around valuation.
And also creates, in some ways, stronger alignment between landlord and tenant. Which is actually something we've talked a lot about and advocated for. There might be this logical extension of that where landlords actually start to take equity positions in their tenants. Are landlords going to start investing in brands more earlier, do you think, in the future?
Probably depends a little bit on what their source of capital is, because the market typically gets uncomfortable when a company that does this suddenly tries to do this. This is going to reward the companies that really understand their business and really understand placemaking. The way you offensively win at this is when it becomes part of entertainment as opposed to just a place to buy something.
What's happening in industrial in 3 years?
Well, no doubt that sector's done extremely well. All these different trends we're seeing for more e-commerce and things like that have just been driving more and more demand for that space. And so it's in great shape.
It is partially what's happening in industrial that because we're seeing this secular shift, this migration away from brick and mortar retail towards e-commerce, that is in turn just cannibalizing square footage in the traditional retail sector and just reallocating that demand to the industrial sector. Is that somewhat what's happening?
I think that has to be. If you think about the space that you need for paper towels and toilet paper and stuff like that, it makes perfect sense that would be showing up and requiring more space in the warehouse environment.
What do you think we'll see at a policy level over the next 4 years?
The thing that's going to have the biggest effect on the real estate industry is what are the steps that the new administration takes to encourage economic growth. The second biggest thing is how do they play with tax policy? On the sustainability and the climate change side, frankly, that's one of the things I'm most encouraged about with the new administration is recognizing in a more direct way the impact that carbon emissions are having on the overall environment. We are, as an industry, incredibly affected by whether our building survives the event. Important thing is to be proactive about identifying those solutions and not waiting until after there's a disaster to take the steps that could have prevented it. Why suffer the loss, then rebuild, then fix the problem? It's not hard to see what the problem is going to be, so let's be proactive in trying to address it. We would continually look for opportunities to take advantage of what technology was giving us to figure out how to reduce carbon usage or utility usage within our buildings. It's a simple thing to do, and it's good for your wallet.